Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome to Into the Core podcast with myself, Linda. I am really excited to have you here, and I'm excited for today's show because I have an amazing person that I'm going to be talking to. But as always, before I give my introduction, and because he is amazing, and you're going to find out why I really um, I love his passion, I love his vibe, I love his space, and I love everything that he's doing right now. So we're going to be getting into that. So before I got to do my intro for Into the Core. Into the Core.
Get into it.
All good things in Africa and beyond. Into the Core. Into the Core. Into the Core. All good things in Africa and beyond. Alrighty then. So this week I am featuring another restaurateur. The first one that I featured was the amazing and so talented Marcus Samuelson. Today I'm really excited to feature Brian Romeo Loafo. Did I say it correctly?
Yeah, you said it correctly.
Before I start calling you new names and everything. But how do you pronounce your last part of the name? Was it spot on?
Luafu.
Luafo.
Luafu.
Lua.
Luafu.
Luafu.
Yes.
Lu.
Lu.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. I love it. So I got to meet Brian. We're just gonna stick with the beautiful name. The Luafo. Afu.
Luafu.
Gosh. Okay, we'll get it right eventually. But Brian, welcome to Into the Core podcast. I'm really excited to have you here. He is the proud owner of a new restaurant that opened last week called Josephine. And Brian, why don't you run us through who Josephine is? Because this is personal.
This is really personal. Josephine was my grandmother, my late grandmother, and
Right?
she took care of me when my mom moved to Holland, and she was like one of the greatest person I ever met in my life. She was very kind, very open, very warm, And when she moved to Holland, and when we
Yeah.
moved to Holland, she has a big house, and that time my uncles they were in the Rastafari movement, so it was like an open house. You could come there, you smell the coconut oil. You saw these guys, what Rastas do, smoking some. And my grandmother was like, it's open house. We don't mind. She cooked for everyone, and basically that is how I remember my grandmother, the one who was
Yeah.
open, and she loved traveling. And always when she came back, she had many stories to tell. We have nice pictures of her in Egypt, in whatever, in Europe, in Africa. My, she was like open, just one big energy, and she never cursed, she never complained about things. She accepted everything in life just the way it is, and that was it. And that is
And
why I'm honor my grandmother.
where was your grandmother from?
She was from Guyana, British Guyana,
Oh,
but
from
she
British
traveled.
Guyana.
Exactly. But she traveled a lot. And she ended up in Suriname. And that's where she had my mother and my uncles. Half of the family is crazy because half of the family came from Guyana and the other half was from Suriname. So my mom was born in Suriname from parents that came from Guyana. And I was born in Suriname from parents that came from Guyana and Suriname.
Oh, that is beautiful. But I mean, like the blend is definitely there. That's
Exactly, because
basically what happened.
exactly because when the Chinese came in Suriname, it's like 1600 something.
Yeah.
My late great great grandmother, she married a Chinese guy, and that was Mr. Lua Fu. So that's where I get that complicated name from. So we have a blend
No
of
way.
Chinese. Yeah, serious,
That is so cool.
serious.
That
Yeah,
is so cool. I mean, yeah, you're just globally represented in your DNA.
yes. And my mom is a quad Indian.
She's a quarter Indian.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
because
Okay,
my
yeah,
grandfather
yeah.
from her side was half Indian. So it's a
So you've
blend
got
of all these
you
bloods.
you've got continents all just peeking in and blending, kind of like your restaurant.
Yeah.
I feel like you knew what you were doing when you were doing this because you're creating a beautiful blend of Caribbean food. But before we get that, you know what a lot of people don't understand about Suriname is that you guys speak Dutch. Um,
Yes, we speak Dutch and Spanish and French because we border also with French Guyana. And
wow.
the people from that side is like the rural areas. These guys speaking Dutch, they speak Spanish, and they speak French. So basically, in Suriname, you can go like about three languages. And we border also with Brazil. So on the other side, it's the Portuguese and the Brazilian, and that is the music what we listen to. Is like Brazilian samba, merengue, rumba. We call that
Hey, it's like
Afro music.
Afrofusion. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. You should listen to the Roomba show that comes on with Fred Machoka. Magoha. What
Oh,
is his
that's
name? Fred Machoka. Anyway, he does this Roomba thing on Saturday. And it's really cool. I mean, like you get your Lingala, you know, it's very beautiful. I bet you at one
I,
point you would really enjoy it.
I will because I love music. So it's just like in Josephine, we have all kinds of music. We have like the rumba, bachata, the cha-cha, but we also have the jazz. We have some rock music. We have the funk music. We have the Brazilian funk. That's really crazy music, and I
Hmm.
love almost all types of music. We have the African music. We have the West African, the North African, the East African, the South African. You know,
Of
that is the
course.
culture of Josephine because like I told you, we came from like an open source. My grandma, she travels a lot. She brought music from all kinds of places. And that is
Yeah.
Josephine. And that is the character for Josephine. It's like we we're about it. We're into it. You know, we can do
I love
anything.
it.
Everything is possible in Josephine.
I feel like I'm dressed appropriately because you just said we're about it. So I was like, yeah, we definitely are. We're about it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you know, one thing that I love about you, Brian, is your passion for the food and people not messing up food. Can we talk a little bit about that? Because I'm not going to tell you to give away your secrets when it comes to cooking and preparation and the works, but I really want to talk to you about, first of all, selection, you know, and market space. So I'm going to start with market
Yeah.
space actually. What did you see in Nairobi that, you know, that you were like, you know what, I need to start a Caribbean restaurant? You know, what was the passion behind it?
Basically, the passion was that, um, first of all, when I came to Nairobi, I've planned to do like a sort of Mediterranean, French type of European type of food. And I
Mm-hmm.
went like 2 years. We look for a good location and all these things and look for good staff to work with. But
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's not that people in Nairobi couldn't. The best people. Let me say it like this: the best people were all occupied, and we couldn't manage on that level because the way I go about food is like a philosophy. We had the discussion before. I told you I hate uh, like convenient food, packed things like, oh, I have some bean, I'm gonna open up a can. No, you know, just put some beans in water, and after 2 days we cook them out. That is how I feel about cooking. The product must be
Right.
right, and yeah. And after a year looking
Yeah.
for people to work with, um, no, I changed my whole strategy, and I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? Since I'm a chef too, mine is do it myself, and I start going into my culture, the Caribbean culture, the Surinamese culture, and I
Yeah.
came up with other ideas like, what we're gonna do instead of that European stuff. I'm gonna do me. You know, this is where I'm from. This is my
What
culture.
you
Even
mm,
in Holland, we had the Suriname community, the South American community. So that was my biggest and my my most knowledgeable food sector. So I was like, you know what I do? Because I went to restaurants, I work with Michelin star chefs. So I
oh
integrate
wow.
that philosophy of the Michelin star with my Caribbean. Everything must come from scratch. When you make something, make
Wow.
something. If you make the flatbread, you know, put some flour, take some water. That is my philosophy. Put some salt in it. That's my philosophy, and that is what I wanted to give the people here in Kenya. New flavor, new experience. It's not only the food, but also the music and the way we do things. I'm very picky about my staff and how things should go. It's a bit hard, but once it's on, it's on. It's like a train. We're on track.
Right. So what was okay, so now you decided to do something that you're passionate about, it has all this involvement of background, tradition, place, space, it blends in different cultures. What was your selection like? Okay, so when you started thinking about the food and what you're going to plate and all that great stuff, this is where, for me, I got, very excited about talking to you because it was the process of what food you're going to actually put on the plate and what that food and where it should come from. So, can we talk a little bit about that and the importance of selection?
Yeah. For instance, when we start with Josephine, you know, you go let me say you go to a butcher and you just look at the counter like, okay, this is this type of meats that they are having here in Nairobi. But
Right.
I'm more like I'm going to the farm, you know. I was at
Yeah.
several farms. I went to Naivasha. I don't want to call the name, from that butcher, but I went to farms. I went to factories. I'm asking about what is the cow eating? Those questions, how many
Yeah.
milk it produce, you know, the vitality of the cow, how do you
Yeah.
breed them? Are they free range? Are they in a stable or whatever? And that is for me,
Yeah.
it's important to know, even for our vegetables. I know where my vegetables is coming from because I've been to the farm. I see who's working on it, I see how they process the food, you know. When we were at the slaughterhouse in Ifasha,
Right. Yeah.
I asked the right, for me, I asked the right questions, How do you slaughter them? You separate them. How long do you separate them? Because all these things gonna affect your product at the end. Because we are the end. When you came here, you're the end consumer. You're the one who's gonna tell me
Yeah.
like, oh, this meat is nice. The vegetables are great. So we're very picky, and I'm very selective about how I go about. I've changed my butcher like 4 times. I changed my grocery suppliers like 2 or 3 times because I was not happy. And for me, it
Yeah.
was like, what the hell? Can people not understand that this is what I want? And blah, de blah. And then you go about it. And I even end up in Mombasa because I wanted
Wow.
these products, I want that fish fresh from Mombasa. So I went to Mombasa and I spoke to the fishermen. I spoke to the factories, and I want to see about it. I don't do frozen. That's why I decided didn't want to do that fish because Caribbean has also to do with fish, a lot of fish. People from the Caribbean, they love fish. So I was
Mm.
like, no, if the fish is frozen, I don't want it. I want the fresh fish. So that's why we only
Like
have
straight
one
out of the
fish.
ocean to your plate.
Straight, exactly, exactly. And that's why I was looking for, to do something in Mombasa as well, so we can have the fish grill and all these things, and then we go fully Caribbean with the fish and
Yes.
meat.
Fish and meat. I mean, I feel like
Exactly.
when you were talking to me about the meat, there was a point where you mentioned a couple of mistakes that we make here. And I do want you to highlight them if that's okay with you. What were some of the mistakes that you see us making, especially when we're selecting meats to cook, at home, and we
Yeah.
think that we're going to get excellent results, yet
Hmm.
here we are.
Yeah. Now, what people like red meat, right? But they want the
Right.
red meat.
Yeah,
When you go to
nyama
the butcher,
choma.
you go look at exactly. You want the red meat, and it must be red. But
Yeah.
what I came to find out, some of the meat, they they make it red for you. You know, meat is a dead thing. There's no corpse that's gonna stay in the fridge that long. So we need to adjust a few things.
Mm-hmm.
What they use to keep the meat eatable, right? And
Right.
so basically, what we do also with certain parts of meat, like technical parts and non-technical parts.
Yeah.
With the meat, uh, what I came to find out, some people, not all, because I'm not going to say all these people, but people when I go to I've been to many restaurants in Nairobi just to
Right.
know what they're doing. Right, this is for
Right.
my retail marketing, whatever. So I saw that some of the meats are not to stew, for instance. Some of the parts
Right.
you cannot stew because it stays tough. Whatever you do, it's gonna stay tough. You gotta chew on it like
For like
six
a minute
days.
and a half, 2 minutes. I mean, like seriously,
Exactly.
yeah.
You know, and even in restaurants they make that mistake. So if we talk about the meat, it's like know which part to use for what. You know, and that is what I came
Yeah.
to find out. And make your selection of the meat. If you have like a lamb leg, how you call it, choma.
Mm.
It's a nice way to do these things. If you just put it,
Mm-hmm.
if you just put it on the grill,
Sorry. My son just brought me my phone. Sorry. My apologies. Sorry. Yeah.
so
Well, this is what happens when you're working from home. Okay. Sorry about that.
exactly, yeah. But like
Yes.
certain parts of meat, uh, is it okay to put it on the barbecue, for instance?
Yeah.
And how long will it take to put it on the barbecue? You cannot put a whole
Mm-hmm.
lamb on the barbecue and expect that it's juicy. It's runny.
Right.
It's and these things I came to find out that if I do this, I'm gonna do it different, right? So
Right.
we have our own way to do things. Like we choose certain parts of the meats that we for
Mm-hmm.
sure that's gonna be nice, smooth, and tender. Just like
Yeah.
our ossobuco, it's like 5 hours on in the pan on the stove, just to let it boil it up. And we're happy with the butter. We call that where we're from. We call that the buttery meat. That means you must take it from the bone, easy, even when you put your fork in and just the bone is falling off. And that's how we like to eat the meat. And that was the
Yeah.
difference between when I came here in Kenya and I was looking for barbecue meats. And oh yeah, we're rocking with barbecue. Oh, that's it, you know.
Yeah.
And we decided we decided to do things different. You know, I made the
Yeah.
lamb, but my lamb took me like 7 hours in the oven at 110 10 degrees, just slow cooking to make sure
Wow.
that it falls from the bone and people won't complain and people will go like, this is what, you know, easy for the teeth, so to speak.
So
And that was
if you were back home and you were to put like you know, your lamb to cook, would it cook for as long as you're cooking hours for, or is there a difference? Or is it
at
about
home.
roughly the same?
It depends, to be honest, because you know, when I was cooking in like the Mediterranean restaurants, people like the meat
Hmm.
red, you know. So you go
Yeah.
like about, if it's like 3 kg, 4 kg, your lamb. We say always say like 1 hour a kg, you know, and it depends. You can
Uh,
wrap it in
yeah.
for, you know. So if you have a lamb leg and it's weight about 4 kg, that means 4 hours.
Hmm.
That's how we calculate the amount of time you should have this. And and the other thing, in my culture, we leave things to sit for like 2 or 3 days. So if your mom's gonna do something on Wednesday, a nice piece of
Hmm.
meat, she already
Hmm.
put it in on Sunday, you know, so to speak. So Sunday she marinated and just leave it there, you know, and then on Wednesday she put it in the oven for like 3 4 hours, and then we know it's you know, the spices, the herbs is penetrating the meat, and that's why I'm so
I feel like
passionate
I'm
about. You see
selling.
me smiling while I'm talking about these things, when I'm
I
talking
know.
about
I
food and stuff. It's
no, I know.
it's
I'm
crazy.
in my mouth. I'm like, well, that just sounds so good. That sounds so
So
good. Mommy, are you hearing this? So now you know how to cook our meat. Don't make mistakes. No mistakes now. Sunday
but
lunches have to be proper. I'm just kidding. My mom
yeah,
cooks really well, but I
I
always I
know.
we find a rough time with like when you go and get like a sirloin steak in some places, they will claim that
Yeah,
it's a good sirloin steak, and then when you cook it, it just comes out hard. And somebody will say, "How are you preparing it?" But we know we're doing it the right way, but it's still
yeah.
really tough. So, you know, I'm
It
gonna
is all
ask for some tricks of the trade, please.
okay. First of all, you must look. How old is your beef? You know, how old is she?
Mm-hmm.
Because many of these people, you can slaughter old cow and it looks like, you know, all the meats looks the same. To be honest, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if the cow is like 2 years old, you got a nice sirloin.
Mm.
But if the cow is like, you know, normally what we
10
say,
years
a
old.
cow gets old. It gets old when they give babies. You know, normally when a cow gives babies, that's not the one you slaughter because that meat is tough. That's already old cow. So basically, what you look, you ask your butcher, how old is he? What do you feed your cows? You know, that's where you start. And then, if the cow is like, okay, oh no, my cow is like 6 years old, 7 years old, you know, you're never gonna have that tender beef. You know, you never. So it depends also on your butcher and how you prepare it. And also something is like Suriname. You know, it's like where I'm from, people
Yeah.
don't like red meat. They don't like the red inside. You know, they go like,
Mm.
no, you must cook it through well done. But well done also depends on which part. It's gonna be tough. So if you do a well done,
Oh.
your mind is
Oh.
cook it for 7 hours because the
Right.
tenderness is coming back after the tissue break down. So
Yeah.
you cannot expect like, oh, on the barbecue it's gonna be no. tender if you want it well done. You must also know how tissue behave. You know, if you do it like 2 minutes on a barbecue, it's nice and soft. But the longer you go on fire, the harder, the stronger the tissue gets. So well
Yeah.
done for certain parts of meat, like a lamb chop. You know, it could be well done, but make a lamb chop stew. Put it, let it simmer for like 3 4 hours, and then it's really nice and tender and soft. But don't expect that it will happen. You know, if you want well done, you must expect that. You know, I'm a well done person. You know, I'm not really a beef person, to be honest. You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if I want my beef and I want it really soft and tender, I must go through that red face we call it. You know, that look like blood face, but it isn't blood because there's no blood in meat when you go to the butcher. That is, yeah, we have certain names for it, but that is what's coming out. It's like your protein. If you put the beef in the pan and
Hmm.
for a while you will see it's gonna run some whitish things is coming out of the beef. That's the protein. That means you already penetrate the inside of the beef, and now the protein molecule is gonna get open, and now the proteins
Yeah.
are running out. So before that phase, you should take it off, let it rest. You can wrap it in foil for a little bit extra tenderness, let it rest for 10 minutes, and then chop it up.
Yeah. And okay, so you've given me, I feel like I'm going to come back into this video and really like summarize everything that you've said and go point by point and say this is what we need to do for our next cookout or cook up, whatever it is. But no, seriously. Um, and I also figure that a lot of the times, if you don't speak directly to the owners, sometimes when you go and talk to your butcher, they may know, they may not know, depending on how much information the owners of the butchery will give you. So that's just another qualm, in this whole situation. But and I like the fact that that's probably the reason why you go straight to the farm, so that you don't have any middle person, right?
No, because a butcher want to sell, you know, and it's
Of
just like
course.
the farmer want to sell, but the farmer on a certain level he want to sell quality. It's not like the
Yeah.
butcher. The butcher can go about it, you know. Tomorrow I can be a butcher tomorrow and go like, oh, I want
Yeah.
all my meat. Do you have the lamb chop? Do you have the T-bone? And I'm just selling it, you know. But the farmer,
Yeah.
he's the one who's feeding the animals. He's the one who's taking
Mm,
care of the animals, you know.
yeah.
So for me, it's as a restaurateur, the one who's selling to customers the end product. I want a certain quality, you know, for my
Of
customers.
course.
It's not even for me; it's for my customers because I want them to have that nice rib. I want them to have that nice chicken that is runny, you know, and it's well seasoned. I want to have them. It's not for me, you know. Me as a chef,
Yeah.
the first thing I think about is not me. Any chef can tell you, chefs are the worst eaters. If they're in the restaurant, they don't eat. They don't, you know, they can't eat.
Yeah.
Most of the chefs, when
It
they go home, they're hungry, you know, but they take care of the customers. They make sure everything is well in place. And that
is
is
well
my
prepared.
philosophy.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my philosophy. It's always the customer. So when I'm going about it, when I go to the farmers, when I go to my you know, the one who's making the vegetables or the herbs, you know, I do that for my
Yeah.
customers, and that is the passion you
Yeah.
should have if you know, if you call yourself a chef or whatever, or a cook or whatever you want to call yourself. You should have the passion
Mm.
to give your people the best product you can.
That you can, of course. And truthfully, I mean, that's why we come to certain restaurants. I mean, anyway, we've had our fair share of bad experiences versus good experiences versus people who will really take care of us. But it is what it is.
Exactly.
I want to ask you, so how long, right now You were doing some amazing stuff, and I see how detail oriented you are. I mean, when I came for the tasting, you told me that you threw a bag of rice out because it just wasn't prepared to your satisfaction. How has it been training your staff into getting into the space where you are feeling comfortable? I know I know that everything is now gelling. You know, you've got an amazing staff, by the way. Compliments to you. I mean, like, if you
Thank you.
looked for such a long time, great job, Brian, on getting such amazing people. You know,
Yeah.
my passion fruit mojito was explained from top to bottom. And then when I tasted it, it was like 10 things. And I was like, where are these 10 things coming from? You mentioned four. I'm getting 10. How is that possible? Um, no, seriously. I was like, wait a second. And I know that my palate is not that great. But
Uh,
I was like, what? There's different layers to your
yeah.
stuff. But how long, I mean, like, how long did it take you to get into the space that you are in now?
To be honest, it has also to do with the type of person you are. You know,
Mm,
uh, in my journey here, looking for young guys who have the passion to cook. You know,
mm-hmm,
what I came to find out is like the chefs. You know, they're like they don't really teach them. You know, they're like, okay,
mm,
you're the onion guy. You know, you're gonna chop up the onion the rest of your life or whatever.
mm,
But for me to train my staff, I'm really happy with the guys I got. Um, the
yeah,
guys in the kitchen are doing well. The guys up front and the girl up front is doing well. It, you know, it's not like how you train them; it's how you about it in life. You know, if are you that guy who's grumpy and go like, I want this and I want that, or are you the guy who's just explaining things and why you explaining it and what is the philosophy? You know what?
mm,
Why do I want to see that? My spare ribs has a little bit of burning edges. Why? And that is what some of these young guys they miss that. You must be
yeah,
very patient. I have a small menu card, and to be honest, you know, the other day one of these guys make the jerk marinade. Today they make the rib marinade, and I'm happy. Basically, I'm happy because we can discuss about anything. You know, you don't have to be fearful. I'm not that Gordon Ramsay, you know, but I want my things done. You know, the way,
yeah,
you know, I show it you one time, two times, three times, four times until you get it, and you must be patient, and you must give them the confidence that they can do it, that they can be just like you. You know, I'm not a special guy. You know, I'm just me. You know, and I'm doing me.
yeah,
But to show people, it's not about for me to go like, oh, and I show them to do. No, it's also has to do with you as a person. You know, we have fun in
mm,
the kitchen. You know, we make a laugh. So the people are gonna be open, and then they wanna learn. You know, and I think
yeah,
also this it has to do with the fact that it's something new. You know, these guys heard about jerk chicken. You guys heard about the Caribbean ribs and the plantain and the whatever, but the infusion, the togetherness of how you make these nice dishes. That is what they're eager about. You know, and you must support always support that they learn and learn and learn and keep on learning. You know, and
yeah,
just like you said, I'm happy with my guys and my girls here. My staff is doing wonderful. I got two great managers who taking care of
yeah,
all of it, and I'm really picky on certain things. But I always show them anything is possible. You know, anything can be done. You know,
yeah,
there's no in this restaurant. You've been here. You know, even when you say, "Oh, do you have something extra? Do you have something new?" We will get it for you. You know, it's possible.
yeah,
If it's something we have, the raw products in the house. Me myself, I will cook for you. You know, I'll go, Linda. Wait, do you have 20 minutes? I'm gonna make you something special because you don't eat this, you don't eat that. You know. Today,
yeah,
by the way, today we make a nice vegetarian dish because we have. Indian neighbors, and they always come here and ask me for vegetarian. So we developed something. I was developing with my guys. We developed something that is like, oh, really? This is meat, chef. This is meat. No, this is no. This is no meat. This is barbecue. You know, vegetarian stuff. You know, it's all
I
about
know.
development. You know, and we don't call the kitchen a kitchen. We call it a lab.
It's ooh, you're just cooking up things in your lab. Listen,
Exactly.
so I wanna give a shout out first of all to the ladies actually next door to you. They've got such a beautiful space.
Yeah.
It's a library where you can go and borrow books. I'm gonna give them a plug in. They've got
Hmm.
fashion going and they've got art. And so the two owners, one of them is in fashion and one of them is in art. She's actually a painter. So if you go to Craft Center, please check them out and tell them that you heard about them from the core into the core podcast because it's so important to support local businesses. But not even that. What I love, I saw Hansel and Gretel, like books that you, if you don't have them at home, you can go and borrow them and then bring them back.
Exactly.
Second, I have to give a very strong thank you to my sponsor for this show, Right Eats. And Right Eats for me is, the owner has worked with me for quite some time. I mean, like, we were together when I was over in Karen, and now he opened such an amazing store. Right Eats basically tries to enlighten you about areas of food that will nourish your life. And I feel like nourishment is very key. When we're talking about like the meats that we want to eat, the vegetables that we put into our bodies, we were talking about seeds, Brian. You and
Exactly.
I were talking
Yeah.
about seeds, and I was like, I never let my
Yeah.
son eat apple seeds, and you were like, why? That's the most. That's where all the vitamins are. So if you just give him and
Exactly.
cut up the apple and give it to him, he's got nothing. But give him the seeds, and that is nourishment. So mummies
Exactly.
out there, don't throw away the seeds. And also, you were saying, so despite the health warnings about watermelon, even watermelon seeds.
Yes. If you blend the watermelon flesh, don't take the seeds out because they are really good fibers. It's really good for your child, and also the core of every fruit is the seed. You know, it starts with the seed, and it's gonna end with the seed. So basically, the core and all the the molecule structure, the whatever you want to call it, it's in the seed. So I give you an example. If you look at monkeys, in the
Mm-hmm.
zoo, they take an apple or they take whatever, they just squash it and they take the seeds out because they're aware of the nature. Many animals in nature don't eat flesh. They don't eat the flesh. They go for the seed, and that is very important to know. My children, they were raised like an apple. You eat the whole apple. You cannot take away the skin because if you say, "Oh, apple is lots of vitamin C," but once you
Yeah,
take the skin off, there's no vitamin C.
you've lost everything.
You're lost because we must look at a whole. If you eat an apple and you want the vitamin C, that means the whole apple. It's like you, Linda.
Yeah,
You're Linda,
yeah,
but you cannot be Linda without the skin or without the head or without whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's one whole thing, and that is also for me with fruit and vegetables. The ones you can eat like pumpkin seed and all this. Take the pumpkin seeds out and dry them. And eat them
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
Those things, and people must be aware of those things because yeah, I'm 48 years old, but people still think I'm 31 or whatever. But if they ask me what's your secret, I say the food is the secret, and drink a lot of water, by the way.
Yes, 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 yes. So I'm a bad drinker of water, but I have started. I mean, like this year, I know I've really improved. I mean, like I'm always with water in my room, and so I'm improving, one day at a time. But so you see, all the seeds that we're talking about, you can come to Craft Center, stop in by the bookstore, have a meal, and get schooled about Caribbean food at Josephine, and then hop on over to Right Eats and get the right and appropriate, nourishment that your body needs. He's got everything there. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got
I
everything. I mean, like
I
it's such a
agree.
beautiful store, you know?
Exactly, I
Yeah.
agree. That is why even we buy our seeds or whatever, we go to that store and just buy the things we need because, to be honest, it's a really great store. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering why people don't, because that's pure health. That store is pure health,
Pure
pure
health.
health,
And the owner
pure
is
health.
pure health. I mean, like everything that
Exactly.
he does is, I mean, like you've got the farmers market. So anybody
Uh,
who's in Karen, and you trust the farmers market that is run by the amazing Dennis. He's opened up Right Eats here in Gigiri, and it is the ultimate place to actually go into.
uh,
Actually, the truth is, then you start realizing how many amazing homegrown brands there are in Kenya, and
exactly.
good
But
brands and healthy brands.
exactly. But we must push it more in Kenya, and it's not all the shops alone. I think people should talk about it more. That's the thing. Why you need chia seeds? Why you need pumpkin seed? Why you need those seeds? Because people are struggling
Yes.
with their health. But there's someone who should explain it to them, like, this is our diet basically. It's not only the meat. It's not, oh, why you d- why are you not cleansing your body? Why you don't do fast for 1 day or 2 days, just drinking water so your body can flush all this dirt away, you know
Like
and
flush
that
it
is, I
out. Yeah.
think, exactly, or the juice fast for 30 days. So I think if we school the people more, yeah, 30 days, if you school the people more, then
No.
I think they will, you know, they're more likely to buy things because they
Yeah.
know why, you know.
Brian, I feel like I need another session with you, especially about like nourishment, and I'm going to bring somebody else on board, so that we could talk about it. But I want us to like now kind of backtrack into Josephine and the menu. Let's talk about the menu before we start itching towards the end of our beautiful session. But let's talk about your menu. What's on your menu?
For the meat section, now we have our homemade sausage. You try that one, and it's really amazing. That is pure
It's
own
oh
recipe. It's from lamb's meat. We have the lambs. I pick up the part myself of the lamb, and the butcher's gonna mince it for me, and that is how we do our thing. And then we got the ribs, nice baby back ribs from the pork. We have the jerk chicken, really good chicken, 1.3 kgs, but really, really well fed.
w-
Um, we have, excuse me.
no, I was just gonna say, I mean, like the ribs were excellent, excellent. And I never, I don't do ribs as much, but you saw me. I mean, like, and then getting in front of people is very, like, I become like a delicate person. I'm like, I hope they're not looking at me eating my meat. But I was in it with you. I was like, yeah. And later
Yeah,
on, I was like trying to pluck things out. But I mean, it was absolutely
exactly.
stunning. And your
And then we
your
have the,
jerk chicken. Oof.
yeah,
She was
we
juicy.
work hard on that. Yeah. And that's also
And
the way you go about it, the the low fires, the high fires,
yeah,
low, high, and it always tastes juicy. You don't just put the chicken on the barbecue and wait till it's charcoal, you know. And that is how we do
yeah,
about it. And then we have the sides. We have the red coleslaw because the white coleslaw has less vitamins. So we use the red one that is stronger flavor, more vitamins. So we use the red one. We have the potato salad, very easy, not too creamy, not too much egg yolk or whatever. Everything must be in
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
And you see, and then we have, let me see what we all have.
Oh, you had your sweet potato.
Sweet
Oh, those are
potato
the sides. Okay,
on the
so I was
grill.
talking
That
about
was the
vegetables
side.
on the grill. That was so good.
Exactly. And we have the
And the
plantain.
vegetables
Yeah,
and the
and the
plantain. Oh
vegetables.
my gosh,
Exactly.
on the skin.
You know, on the skin. Because when you leave the skin on
So good.
again, all the vitamins from the skin is going into that banana. You know, it's going into that plantain because you need it. Also, when you open up the grilled plantain, you will see the
Yeah.
skin is almost black, you know, from the inside. That
Yep.
means all the vitamins are back in the plantain,
Oh
in that
wow.
little
It
tiny
was
banana. And
so good.
thank you, thank you. And that is what I say. It's a small menu card, but everything is well thought of. You know, we don't want to do books as a menu card. We just this is what we're good in. This is what we can do. You know, Jamaican rice and beans. Just like I told you, we have our beans. You know, dry beans. We soak them. We boil them. We use coconut for our coconut milk. You know what I mean? We grind the coconut,
Yes.
take the juice out, and put it in the rice. You know, if I could make my own rice,
So good.
I would. So
It's
basically,
so
yeah.
good. So,
Thank you.
so, so, so good. Listen, okay, so here's my thing. I need to um almost wrap it up, but I want to ask you
Yeah.
number
Uh,
for everybody to hear you say in order for them to order from you and try out your food, because I feel right now when everybody is getting out there, we're all staying home, we're staying safe, and I know that whatever you're going to get at home is going to be absolutely stunning. How can they order from you? What's the number? 07?
they can go to josephinebarbecue.com and we have the
Yeah.
menu there. You can also look at Instagram, Josephine Barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
We have the menu as well. What they also can do is just call us. I'll give you the number. Hold on. Normally Stephanie is taking care of this, so let me check.
And
I'm too
Stephanie is
busy.
absolutely fantastic. She is
She is. She
she
is.
is she's a stunning, lovely person who just wants to make sure that everything that you get and everything that you're doing and everything that you're tasting. She was like, how is it? Is it good? Do you like it? Okay, I'm so happy. And everything was was amazing.
Exactly. So they can order from 07
Uh-huh.
06.
Oh, sorry, start again. Hold on one
Sorry.
second.
Yeah.
You broke off a little bit.
Okay, do you hear me now?
0706. Yes.
0706
Mm-hmm.
089666.
What
Again,
was the first?
07, yes, 0706 08 9666.
All right.
And then they
Gotcha.
can order. And we also deliver food. You can order caterings. We had caterings for 10 person. You can order the raw meat. You can order like only the marinade. If you want to try and do it at home, we're willing to help you. We give you tips. We can get some marinade at home. If you want the jerk marinade, we're willing to make it for you. Just call in us in advance and we make a job for you. So Josephine is not all about coming to the restaurant. Josephine is a really big experience here in Nairobi, you know, and we're
It's a
willing and
full.
happy. Exactly. It's like a cult. So you
I'm
don't need
in.
to come to the restaurant or whatever. We can help you. I'm always ready to help you, even when you have a barbecue at home. one of our cooks can come and do the catering and help you barbecuing, Josephine
Oh,
style.
that's brilliant.
Yeah,
And so I need to ask this because if your cooks come home, will they come with a COVID certificate to show that
they will. They
they've got a
will. They're
clean?
all okay. They're all tested. You know, uh, some of us already had the vaccine, the first one, so you don't need to be worried about your health. Josephine is all about health and also all about your inner health. Make sure that even the food is COVID free.
Everything that you're consuming you have to make sure that you are consuming the right foods.
Exactly.
Brian,
Yes.
Brian Lu Afu,
Yes. Almost. Lu afu.
Oma Lu Afu, Lu
Yes.
Afu, Lu Afu. Yeah. Well, Brian, thank you
Yes.
so much. You
You're
you have
welcome.
been absolutely fantastic, and that's why I said I feel like I need another session with you. We've gotten up to our time, and I want to say a huge thank you to, of course, you, Brian, and to the staff, all the staff at Josephine, and you, Brian, for starting this up. It's been absolutely stunning, and I can't wait
Thank
for
you.
my yum 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 yum. All right.
Thank you very
Second
much.
of all, I want to I want to thank Akazi loving on this ring. It is absolutely stunning. If anybody wants to get one of these beautiful Akazi rings, make sure you go and check them out on Instagram, Akazi Africa, because they're absolutely amazing. Kazuri Beats, I want to say thank you to them too. This is so beautiful, so beautiful, so beautiful, gorgeous. Ooh, where is my hand? Oh, right there. And of course, to my sponsor for this show, because everything is about eating right, Right Eats, which is also in the same space as Josephine at Craft Center. It's in Gigiri. Make sure you go check them out. They are amazing. Anything nutritional you actually need and that you want, you will find. And if you don't find, he will tell you where to find it. That's the amazing thing about him, because not only does he run the farmers market and he understands what organic food and what is getting into your body needs to be healthy. He can tell you about the vegetables, but he's also got you covered on the dry goods and the rest of it. All right. So thanking everybody. A big shout out to oh my gosh, Jamhuri Ware, I miss you. I need more. That's all I'm gonna say, is that I just need more. I've been rocking this since before my baby was born, and I still love it. And I still feel young and fresh, and I feel like that's what your restaurant is. Josephine's Caribbean restaurant makes me feel young and fresh, and it makes me feel as fresh as this. Like
Thank you.
decked out, fresh to death, amazing food. Tasty, your spicing is on point, your the ambiance, oh my god, I could have felt like I was at the beach, but I really wasn't. I know I'm giving you all the big ups, but I have to, because you deserve it. You took me on a journey, so thank you very much. So sending you
You're
love.
welcome.
Thank you very much, Brian. Everybody
Thank you.
else, visit Josephine's, order. I have the number 0706 089 666. Go to josephinebarbecue.com and check them out. That's all you need to do. Pretty simple. Get me on my DMs, comment below. I've got you. And maybe at some point I'm gonna coax Brian into like fan of the year type of thing, and maybe we'll send you a meal. I don't know. Be nice. We love
Okay.
you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. It was
This
my
was
pleasure.
fun. Thank you.
Thank you.